What's up, everybody? It's me, Bryson Booker, here with another Pro Audio review for you today. And now this is the first of its kind review that I've seen on YouTube thus far after uploading this video. And it's a review on this Soundtech Megamix 6. This mixer, powered mixer, 450 watts of power, was released by Soundtech in 1997. And it actually went, the series itself, the Megamix series, went for a couple of years, 97, 98. So far, the models that I have discovered that were from the series, the Megamix series, was the Megamix 6, which is this, and the Megamix 10, which was a 10 input with 2 stereo inputs on it, and the Megamix 10D, which had digital effects on it. There's also another variation of the Megamix series from Soundtech called the Megamix PC, which was a powered mixer. However, it looked like this Behringer Xenix up here, and it could sit on a table and you can mix like that. But the Megamix series was basically a group of Soundtech mixers that was for the common musician. Soundtech itself was a company that is no longer around, but basically companies that we have now, such as Harbinger or Alto Professional, any company that makes decent quality gear for reasonable prices, basically is just like what Soundtech was in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. They made speakers, amplifiers, compressors, gates, and mixers that were basically for the common musician that would generally be sold at your normal mom and pop music stores, as well as places like Sam Ash or Guitar Center, where you could just pick it up and use it and it would be pretty decent. And so Soundtech did that for a while until they kind of defunct themselves around 05 or 06. But this is when they were still pretty popular. I remember Soundtech from my childhood. A couple of bands and a couple of churches had Soundtech gear. And so that's kind of the reason why I picked it out, because it was a brand that I remember was decent quality. And this mixer packs a whole lot of features in it that other ones at this price range, or probably for a little bit more, didn't have. And so that's why I picked this one up. So, take a look at one of the inputs. You got your 3-band equalizer. So that's your highs at 12 kilohertz, mids, or technically high mids, at 2.5 kilohertz, and then lows at 80 hertz. Basically your typical, mixer of this caliber type of EQ. But here you also get a low cut. So you get a 70 hertz low cut filter that filters out that extra low end rumble or muddiness on some vocals. Here you have your reverb send or auxiliary send post fade. So if you wanted to run a post fade monitor send, you could. And then here's your monitor output for obviously outputting to a monitor. And then your main volume here. And then that's the same for channels 1 through 6. Each channel uses a combination input, so 1/4 inch and XLR, as you see here. No stereo channels, but I believe the Megamix 10 and 10D have 2 stereo inputs that have 2 1/4 inch outputs for you running a drum machine or a keyboard or something like that. And then over here you got your graphic equalizer and your EQ amp assign switch. So right now it's on main, and this coordinates with the outputs on the back of the unit, which I'll show you in a second. But if you had it on monitor, this graphic EQ would be sent to your monitor send, and then you could use it to EQ out the feedback frequencies that you may hear from your speakers. Or if it was on main, you could tune the room and turn down frequencies that may resonate in the room a little bit. You got a pretty good frequency section. Let's see, 16 kilohertz, 8 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, 1 kilohertz, 500 hertz, 250 hertz, 125 hertz, and 63 hertz. Pretty useful EQ for tuning out those feedback frequencies or resonant frequencies that may end up in the low mids over here. 48 volt phantom power switch for condenser microphones, obviously. All your output masters, main output master, monitor output masters. You got your aux and tape masters for this right here, your tape input. You got your main output for outputting to another main system. Let's say if you have powered speakers and you would go from here. You got your aux in and aux return for running extra effects or a post-fade monitor send. You got your monitor out running to a monitor. Main bus in for compressors and different things like that. Subwoofer out so you can output to a powered subwoofer, and then you have a crossover frequency of 125 hertz, so 125 hertz and below the subwoofer output will produce, and then you got your reverb foot switch, and then obviously your power, protect, and amp clip lights for your amplifier. Like I mentioned before, this amplifier does get 450 watts. You got your air vents here, as well as a fan back here to keep it cool. But there's a catch to that. When you plug in your speakers, the output of these speaker jacks are already in parallel, meaning that you don't have to go from one jack to one speaker and then another speaker. That's parallel. Well, Soundtech already did it for you, so you just have to plug both of the speakers in the back here. And if you have two 8-ohm speakers, that'll go down to 4 ohms and get you 330 watts. If you have maybe 2 other ohm speakers that would give you 8 ohms, if you plugged them in both together, you would only get 200 watts. And if you had 2 4-ohm speakers, that would get you down to 2 ohms, which would give you the whole 450 watts. So that's the catch. You know, depending on your speaker ohms, you're probably not going to get the whole 450 watts unless you probably connected more speakers to it. Just to let you know, the more speakers you connect, the more the ohms go down. Basically, the more power that you get from the Megamix. It won't give you that full power for 2 8-ohm speakers. It won't give you the full 450 watts, which is in some cases that's good because it won't blow your speakers or give your speakers more power than they call for. You know, so in some instances, the way they did that was pretty good. So now I'm going to give you a sound demo so you can hear how it sounds. Alright guys, so what you hear right now is the Soundtech Megamix 6. I'm talking through it through a Shure SM58 microphone. And I'm going into channel 2 because I believe channel 2 doesn't crackle. Some of these knobs I still need to clean a little bit because they're still a little dusty, so it kind of crackles a little bit. But it's okay, it works. And so, this is the part that is not powered. So if you are running this output, you're basically telling the mixer that you have speakers with power already. So, I'm talking through the input. Basically, the sound on this unit is basically your typical powered mixered sound. It's not anything spectacular. Soundtech was pretty good with just price rise with sound. You know, you got decent sound from it. It's nothing to brag about. I'll play with the frequencies a little bit so you can hear how they sound. So if you want to boost a little highs, if you would like, there you go. There's a highs boosted at 12 kilohertz. Keep in mind, each boost that you make, this is kind of typical for every powered mixer of this demeanor. Every boost that you make does add volume to the signal. So be careful when you're making boost, because you will add volume to the signal, which is greater risk for feedback. So keep that in mind when you're adding things. Here's how the mids sound like. I added way too much, but 2.5 kilohertz. Bass at 80 hertz. Alright, so if you look up there, you can't really see it. Hold on. Well, you could see it at the 4. Check. There we go. That light up there flashes to let you know. And then I'll put my low cut in and out for you. Alright, so this is no low cut. So this is just my normal voice. And then here's the low cut. So sound-wise, you know, as far as powered mixers go, this is kind of, you know, straightforward. I would say in comparison to my old Crate CPA 8P, the Crate CPA 8P was a bit more warmer than this mixer. This mixer is, you know, it doesn't really have a warm preamp to it. It's just kind of normal, generic sounding. It just sounds generic. But at least you get the flexibility of having a 3-band EQ instead of a high and low control.